Hey everybody, this is 310 Sessions Behind the Sessions. I'm Max Rêve, co-producer of the format of 310 Sessions, and today your host for this podcast. And we have as a guest Max Nyman, the coordinator for the project Creative Dialogue. And hi Max, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. So glad to be here.
So, about your project, let's maybe first start where are you coming from? What did you study? This is a format about inviting people from the music landscape, from cultural projects, also musicians and artists to share about their projects, about their experiences. So where do you come from? How are you linked to the cultural landscape, I hate the word music industry, so I'm looking for a different word. The music landscape, I think this is a better word. So tell us about you.
Yeah, well, I'm a Finnish musician and nowadays more music organizer, manager, facilitator. I did a career of almost 10 years with orchestras in Finland. I'm a viola player, but last year I played my last professional engagement, and since then I've been focusing on management and in particular focusing on the project, the workshop Creative Dialogue, which was founded in 2007 by the Finnish cellist Anssi Karttunen and the Finnish composers Kaija Saariaho and Magnus Lindberg.
So you're very linked to the Finnish music scene, and what is the project Creative Dialogue about? How did it came to be with these three composers and artists coming together, and what is the philosophy behind Creative Dialogue?
It's a project that's based in the friendship of these three Finnish artists, and the name says it all. It's about sharing their dialogical way of collaborating and making music, in this case to a younger generation of composers and performers.
That's super interesting, especially giving a younger generation an input from more experienced point of view. Is it just one way that the more experienced composers try to share their experience with a younger generation, or what is the concept behind? Does it go both ways?
Well, you're totally on point. I mean, if you think of the word dialogue, it's both ways, and it also requires a certain equality. You need to be eye to eye, and in our context, it's a workshop, but we wouldn't call it a course. We wouldn't call it a master class. There are no masters and no professors. There are no students. We're all aiming to be on the same page, and sharing information, sharing experiences from different cultures, from different eras, from different perspectives musically, and different levels of experience.
That's so interesting, because I feel music is very about the collaboration, about the coming together. It's way more fruitful for me, at least, also as a producer, to see a different standpoints coming together and creating something. So this idea of a dialogue is, I feel, very compelling also to a lot of artists out there, because it's always the feeling that you try to fight for yourself, but sometimes it's about the friendships you build, the people you are collaborating with. So how would a workshop take place? Like, what is the concept around this? Is it a one day thing, or do you come together over like a time frame and create over a longer period? How does this work?
Well, as you say, the friendship and the collaboration as a basis for creation, it requires time, and in the case of our founders, it took years and years of working together and refining the collaboration. In the case of the workshop, we do 10 days of intensive work together. The composer participants bring sketches, some bring ready pieces, and then during 10 days those are worked on together. But just as important as the musical work is the social aspects, sharing meals together, having long nightly discussions about the world and about each other's backgrounds and cultures, and really in the process becoming very good friends.
I think this is something a lot of artists working in different creative fields can relate to, the coming together, making friends in these projects, the long nights with good meals. I think this is what a lot of creatives experience and enjoy, and this is probably something also that's very memorable to each person after a project, the people you get to know and have these very unique experiences with.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a shared experience that will last a lifetime, and you never know what will come out of it. But from this point of view, it's actually quite shocking to me how much in the modern contemporary music scene the dialogue is overlooked. I mean, in many cases, when a new composition gets written, the performer just gets a PDF in their email, and that's it. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but I mean, it's closer to that than having an ongoing process together and really deeply knowing one another as performer and composer.
So what would your solution be to bringing the performer closer again to the composer? Do you have any ideas how this might be possible, especially in the contemporary music scene? Because of course there are a lot of commissions that are worked with. And how would you approach this, bringing the composer closer with the performer? Do you think it's concepts like creative dialogue, or do you see another way to do this?
Of course, I want to be an advocate for creative dialogue in every possible way, and it's clear that creative dialogue is having an impact. We have now over 200 alumni all over the world, and last year in one of our dialogues, Magnus Lindberg, in a lecture about his own composition process, said something that really stayed with me. I have to actually look up the quote. Compositions are like mushrooms growing out of an enormous mycelium, and that's how I sort of feel about creative dialogue as a philosophy, as a way of life, and as hard to find the word, organization, institution. I mean, it's the mycelium underground,
Yeah.
and then compositions, collaborations, ensembles pop up, but it's impossible to know everything that's
Yeah.
brewing underground, but it's definitely making an impact. But the main point probably would be that as we established already, the word or concept music industry sounds really harsh and really rough, and in order for dialogue to become a standard practice, I think it can't be an industrial process.
Yeah, I think we take these words very for granted, that something is very corporate, very industrial, and instead of sometimes rethinking also the wordings we use on this, I at the moment enjoy this term of collective a lot, especially in art projects, because it gives way more room to equally working than it has to be a corporation that is driven by an intent to make money, because art is sometimes not about the money. It's sometimes inherently should be about the art that's created. Or what is your point on this?
Well, it's a big topic in these times of art funding being quite tight, and industrialization seeming to be the easiest solution.
Yes.
But again, I think nature and an organic process is in the end stronger than something that is constructed on an industrial scale, if you kind of catch the idea. Yeah.
But maybe coming back to creative dialogue, how would you see this project in this kind of context? Because I understand it is not about being a corporate idea. It's about like coming together. And how would you see creative dialogue in this sphere?
We certainly do things differently. We present, in my view, a better way of communicating. We present a more meaningful, more wholesome way of creating, and I mean, just look at the world.
Yeah.
The world needs more dialogue.
Yes, I think at the moment there's not a lot of talking and coming into a dialogue, which is very sad, because I think to heal also certain wounds that have been created in the past years in all these different fields, it would be great to come more into dialogue with people from different fields, and just talk about the things that are actually important.
The things that are actually important, yeah. And I have a feeling that we agree on what those things really are. But yeah, the big question is how to turn the big wheels of
Yes.
Of society, and in our bubble of creative dialogue, we are really actively thinking about this, and working on ways of showing an example not only in the world of music or art, but this concept of collaboration based on trust and friendship. And I mean, it's totally relevant in business. It's totally relevant on the level of global affairs, and that's a kind of next step in our agenda.
Do you think it maybe also helped the project that it was founded by 3 artists and composers that have a certain standing in the music landscape, that it would have been different if there wouldn't have been a certain backing to reach these young artists and composers and actually bring them together, and also to provide the spaces to do this? Because I also understand for a lot of projects it's hard to find the spaces and the people that actually give a shot to a project. There's a lot of work and convincing always that has to go into every project that you start. And do you think this has actually made it easier or even possible that you are at this point with creative dialogue that you reached now?
Absolutely. The sort of name recognition of Anssi and Magnus and Kaija has played a huge part in that, but we've also been very fortunate until 2 years ago. The workshop was organized under the umbrella of the Sibelius Academy. So in that sense, we had a strong organizational backing. Since then, we've become independent, but we have the support of a very generous family in Finland that is making this possible. And actually now we are starting to be in the situation where our alumni network starts to be the foundation, and alumni from 17 years ago are already starting to establish careers of their own. I mean, or are already more than established, and so again, I'm seeing this as a natural and organic situation where it is going from the founding trio to this
nice.
huge mycelium.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
So now that you're talking about the alumni, did you had any composer or performer that came in as a more in experience, like upcoming artists that just started and now is maybe coming also to these workshops to be more on the other side of the coin, more as an experienced person that maybe from these years of experience and also growing through your project? I think it sounds like you give a lot of room also to grow for this artists, no matter where they are coming from, that they are now coming back and are more the experienced one that try to share a bit more of their path with a newer generation.
It's really interesting that you should bring this up, because along with the societal aspects and wanting to broaden the dialogue in that direction, this is another focus point that is very much on our minds and in our future plans, to bring in the previous generations of alumni little by little to be actually a part of the faculty. And sort of passing the baton in a sense from the founding trio
Yes.
to a new generation.
Oh, that's really nice. Maybe this is a more dense question, I think, but just to come on this, to talk on this, since Kaya now died in 2023, did this something to creative dialogue that one of the founding members passed away, and did this change anything, or is there even like something like is her spirit still in the project? Because I understand something like this can also leave a hole in the project. Did somebody try to carry on her musical impact, because she had quite an impact on the music scene, and how has this been for the project, if you want to answer that question?
Sure. I think it's a big question. Her passing made an impact on the whole music world. It seems to me in almost an somehow unprecedented way. It touched everyone, and of course, in the world of creative dialogue, she is greatly missed. But on the other hand, it seems to me like the dialogue with her goes on through her music.
Yeah.
That is a part of every single creative dialogue, I would say, and her mentality and mindset are present in how we work. It's the philosophy hasn't changed, and it keeps going from generation to generation. So yeah, this is a way of still being in touch.
Yeah.
And we are very, very fortunate to have had Julian Anderson, the British composer, join the sort of permanent
Yes.
faculty of the team, actually, as wished by Kaija, and he has brought new perspectives
Yeah.
to the way this is done, and new culture, British humor and wit for sure, and that's a wonderful expansion.
But that's so nice that that the dialogue goes on. This is very nice to hear. But maybe on a more lighter note, because I something like this is a very dense topic, and what holds the future for creative dialogue? What where will it go from now? What are the visions of the people working around the project to carry it forward, to maybe new ideas that are coming in?
Yeah, an integral part of the creative dialogue is that new ideas and new approaches are integrated to each and every workshop in order to keep the playing field level. Also for the faculty is that we disrupt the situation, and this year, for instance, we're disrupting the situation by having visiting guest artists from the sphere of another genre of music. We're having the jazz trumpeter Verneri Pohjola for the Finnish edition of Creative Dialogue, and we're having John Paul Jones, the legendary bass player of Led Zeppelin, for the French Creative Dialogue.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
That's really cool. I mean, both of these guys have so much to bring new perspectives to the sort of old timers in the
Yes.
creative dialogue sphere, as well as the young musicians coming to participate. And next year we're having dancer choreographers for the first time. Next year we're having dramaturgs for the first time. So we're really working on expanding, and and we're working towards our 20th anniversary, which is going to happen in the 2027-2028 season, and that's going to mean a lot of events all over the world. That's going to mean a symposium where we invite all the alumni that have been part of Creative Dialogue, all the faculty members ever, and partner schools, partner institutions. So the thing is growing. The mycelium underground is widening, and a lot of mushrooms are popping up.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Just to hop on the John Paul Jones, I think this is something important, interesting for a lot of people. How did this come to be? I know Ansi worked with him on, I think it's Sons of Chipotle called his project.
That's right.
But did it come to be through this project? And are you hoping he brings some more of his like rock experience also into the spheres of the new composers, or what are your expectations there?
The fun part is I have no idea what to expect, and that's also the case with Anssi's and John Paul's duo,
Yes.
Sons of Chipotle. It's an impro duo that it's not classical, it's not rock, it's just wild. So really looking forward to this summer's adventures.
So it sounds it will be a wild ride.
It will.
Thank you so much for being here and for talking with us about Creative Dialogue. It has been so much fun talking to you, actually.
This was maximally fun.
Yeah, Max and Max. So thank you all for watching the podcast. And this has been Behind the Sessions. And see you at the next podcast.
Loved it.